Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name's Bobby Waldron. In this rapid video build, we're going to be building the Panzer III Ausf.L, and this is by Tamiya, 1/35 scale. Now, for the Ausf.L, this is supposed to be the best kit you can get by Tamiya in the Ausf.L version, and in this rapid video build, which by the way, rapid video build basically means we're not going to go step by step and film all the basic stuff. We're just going to film the intermediate and the advanced stuff, so it kind of speeds things along, i.e., you know, rapid video build. It's a way in which we can get rid of all the basic stuff and we can just concentrate on all the more interesting intermediate advanced stuff for you more competent modelers. Now in this particular rapid video build, we are going to be blasting through the whole build stage. I'm just going to show you whatever fit problems or whatever there is with it, and really sort of get down to the spraying and the weathering with this one. I'm really going to go for it, and I think there's about 5 episodes altogether. So what we're going to do now, we're going to clear the workbench here, and then we're going to do a nice inbox review and crack on with getting this built. Let's kickstart this video build with a nice quick inbox review of the actual kit itself, of the Panzer Kampfwagen 3 Ausf.L. Nice kit by Tamiya, 1/35 scale, and looking at the box art, it does look rather nice, and along the sides we've got different camo patterns. And strangely enough, this camo pattern here is not actually in the instructions for you to do. This is all you've got to go on to do that one, which is rather strange. But inside the box, quickly having a look, decals, nice small decals, nothing too big to write home about when it comes to armour. We have a decal call out sheet and what colours for 3 different types of Panzer IIIs, but remember, you do have these markings here, which this is all you got to go off, but you do have the decals for it. So there are 4 markings, it's just they only have 3 of them actually on this piece of paper there. Our instructions, typical Tamiya, it's normal kind of paper, no colour, and just looking through it, it's the typical completely folding out one, rather than not being like a booklet sort of thing. We'll have a look at them later. Inside we have separately bagged, one bag which has got the main top hull on that one, looking rather nice there. Another separate bag here with 2 sprues in, lots of bits and bobs. We've got a commander in there, we've got the turret, you know, so the packaging's quite good, nicely separately bagged. We have 2 sprues that look like the same in another separately bag here, so that's you know, all good. Our bottom hull completely separate, not bagged, you know, looking rather good. And what else do we have? We have our tracks, no bags going on with this either, and they look nice. So you know, I'm going to do a bit of research, get all this open, and we'll have a closer look. Just getting started with the instructions. Nice explanation, well, a nice kind of bit of a history and about the actual Panzer III here. Nice little read there. The instructions, I mean, they are pretty typical. I personally don't like the ones where we have to fold them all out, but you know, we start with the lower hull, the suspension, moving on to all the wheels. You know, I'm not seeing anything like major options or you know, anything kind of fancy. It is a pretty basic, straightforward set of instructions, hopefully, as you can see there. But as I say, there's no sort of options really to, I mean, I think you can have either the hatches open, commander in or out, but that is basically it for the instructions. Not bad at all. Moving along, it does actually say in the instructions that see the box for all like camo patterns and stuff, which as I've already said, I mean, it just seems strange because we've got our call outs here for the first company in Russia, September 1942. That one looks like the one that's actually on the box art, right? And then we've also got one that's in Tunisia and Russia in the winter periods, and then The grey one that's on the box art isn't on here, so you know, it's a bit of a shame. But you know what, I mean, when it comes down to it, you know, it is quite simple. The decals, as I'll show you now, I mean, there's not really much going on with the decals because you don't have lots of markings on tanks. These decals are for like 4 sets of markings, so I mean, there's not going to be a lot going on here, so you know, it's going to be pretty easy to kind of work it out. But coming to our first sprue, we've got our top hull, and hopefully you'll see it is rather nice. We've got some nice raised rivet detail here. That's going to look really nice with washers and chipping, you know, really nice there. Lots of different kind of panels and stuff, you know, nice and crisp. I've got some little rubber things for the wheels, move that out the way. Just bringing you through. As you can see, hopefully as you can see, the detail on here is quite nice, quite crisp, very sort of neat. I'm not seeing any flash going on with this at all, and looking at this actual sprue here, I mean, any ejector pin marks that are on here seem to be you know, where you're not going to see them, and they don't really matter. You know, so rather good. We've got our turret here as well, looking rather good. I mean, obviously this is going to have lots of bits put all on it and all over it, and it's going to look really nice when it's done. And moving along, our actual main gun here is 2 halves, so I'm going to have to glue them together, sand out the seam line and get them rather nice as well. And again, ejector pin marks, I mean, we do, I mean, there is 1 or 2 places. I mean, we've got our hatches here, there's like one ejector pin mark there and there, you know, so they are in places which you know, you might have to take care of, but I mean, from what I can see, they are rather light, right? I mean, we're not going to have major problems with ejector pin marks. We've got a nice commander here, and he is looking really nicely detailed as well. Hopefully, as you can see there, that's going to paint up rather nice. I think I will do the commander for this video build as well. And just moving along, showing you some bolt detail are going to look rather nice, as you can see. Shovels, again, ejector pin mark. Okay, on the inside we've got, oh, there we go. On the inside there's a little bit of ejector pin mark in there, but you're not going to see that side. Not seeing any warp marks either, you know, nothing seems to be warped or out of shape or anything like that. And the flash is virtually non-existent on this. We have our main hull here. We do have 1 ejector pin mark, well, a sort of a where it's been cut just in there, but that is absolutely nothing. Apart from that, very crisp, very detailed, very nice and neat. Then we have 2 sprues here that are exactly the same, which is all our road wheels and everything, and these are looking just absolutely spot on, really nice. You know, no real complaints. The tracks that are going to go actually onto the hull, they're looking very nicely detailed. They should be nice with a nice natural metal finish, and weather them up really nice. Main road wheels, drive wheels and everything looking good. No real problems with them. There are ejector pin marks in some places, but not really where you're gonna see them. And these road wheels, they're looking, as you can see, really nicely detailed. Hopefully we'll get them looking nicely weathered as well. Then we come to the last piece, which is our actual tracks, which I know they are they're all in one, so for a beginner, when they're all in one, it is kind of good for a beginner. But you know, when you come along with your modelling, you want to get all the ones where it's the separate track links, because they just look so much better on the model. But we'll play around with them to try and get them to look as natural as possible. But you know, it's going to be a lot easier than putting loads of different track links for each and every track link, which I don't mind doing actually. But there you go. I mean, I'm not seeing any flash on this, which is rather good, because I've had ones that have got flash on them and it's just a bit of a nightmare, to be honest with you. But these are looking quite good. So really, I mean, the final conclusion to this entire kit, really, you know, I've got to say, it's a nice kit. I mean, you can't really grumble. you know, because it is just absolutely just, you know, there's no flash, it's very precise, looks detailed, it looks like it's going to go together rather well. Now this particular kit, just bringing up my bit of research I've done on this, it was released in 1997, so it's a little bit on the old side, but looking at this, I mean, it still looks like it's, you know, it looks like a brand new kit, tooling, sorry. So, I mean, you know, it's nice and sort of not old, but not new, but still looking good. The price of this kit from, say, Hanance right now, it is about £29.99. Now, that's from Hanance, that's RRP. You probably get it cheaper elsewhere. I think that is a little bit overpriced. I mean, you know, we're definitely not getting a bargain here. And yeah, I think it is just slightly a bit overpriced. But apart from that, I mean, it looks like an absolutely fantastic kit to go together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get on with this build now in nice rapid video build style. As you can see, nicely moved along with this build. It really is just nicely going together. No real need to, you know, put the camera on. This is rapid video format as well, so you know that is coming along really nice. Little problem, you know, no big deal. Probably get a lot with any armoured vehicle really, is you might get a little bit of a gap here and there when you stick your pieces down, because it has been pretty much just cut these pieces off the sprues, tidy them up with a bit of a sanding, and then we just simply glue them on. Really easy. But you know, we got a little bit of a gap just here where our drive wheel is, and we simply get some Vallejo plastic putty. Really nice filler, because it's got this nice lung nozzle for an applicator, and we just literally just, you know, squeeze this into the gap. Just get off that little bit of a dry bit. There we go, squeeze it into the gap. Right, it's not so messy because of the applicator, which is really good. Let's get right here as well. And then, you know, before it dries, you know, straight away, nice moist cotton wool bud, and we just wipe that up just like so, and just fill in that gap, tidy up all the bits around it, and there we go, real nice. Now I have got a little bit of a gap still just there, as you can see there, after kind of wiping up. No big deal, you know, get in there with the applicator again, squeeze it down, and we're good to go again. Because it's all nice and wet still, you know, we can, you know, we've got time to play around with this if need be. Right, and there we go, that's basically got that done. Just tidying up, making it look a little bit neat around the edges, just so we don't you know, make more of a mess than actually kind of making it look nicer. There we go. Now the one thing is with this, you know, as always, you know, once it dries, you may have little bubbles, it may shrink, so we might have to apply this a couple of times. But I think you'll agree, you know, as a filler, to fill that and just wipe it up is a lot better than filling, leaving it to dry, and then going off with sanding sticks and trying to sand into here somehow. You know, that is really a nice technique. And pretty much, I mean, when it comes to this whole build so far, you know, this is all this model has needed. We've not needed to come in with sanding sticks or anything like that. It's just been, you know, do these little bits of filling here and there, and it just wipes up rather nicely. Next thing I want to show you as well, let's put the lid on this because we don't want it drying up. Next thing is the wheels. Nice little technique here where what we can do is we have got like a faint sort of join line where the two molds come together, and you know, it's kind of like flash, but it's very, very faint. You know, just to get it really nice and proper, what we can do is we're going to use this sanding stick, which is like a nice sort of fine-ish sanding stick, and we're just going to sand all the way around. Right, we're going to get rid of this tiny bit of flash so it's all nice. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to kind of go down to finer sanding sticks and make it all nice and smooth and fine, we're just going to actually leave this at this sanding stick. So once I've done this and gone all the way around, which hopefully you can see, hopefully as you can see, it's gone a little bit on the rough side, which is basically, you know, absolutely, you know, perfect for this, because it's going to show that this wheel's been in use. It's you know, it is on the tank. You know, it is getting used. It's not smooth. You know, it's going to be a little bit rough. And then just to add a little bit more for when we come round to weathering, getting a blade, and I'm just going to cut in. Right, and then cut down. Right, and what that's done there is it looks like the road wheel has got onto a stone or something, and that stone's like cut away a bit of the rubber. Back when I was in the Armoured Corps, I used to see that all the time, where there'd be like cuts and scratches, and you know, bits of the rubber was, you know, chopped out somehow by stones and whatever it was that maybe got caught under. Right, so just, you know, cut out a few little bits, and it will just add that nice extra little bit of something when it comes around to weathering, because that will look really nice when we put pigments on there and everything, because it'll kind of slightly bring them out and show you the weathering, the wear, and it's just that nice bit of extra detail. And just glue this together with some Tamiya extra thing. I'm just going to basically put a nice blob inside here, because it is a bit hard to get the brush in here when it's put together. So a nice quick blob in there, and that should be enough to glue that together. Right, and then when it comes to mounting them, because we want to be able to spray all these wheels separately. Now we could drill a hole. Well, we can't, because we can't actually get a cocktail stick in there. We could drill a hole somewhere maybe here, but let's just use the holes that are already here, push that on there, and then that is all good for any kind of spraying and painting, nicely hands-free. Stick that in some sort of polystyrene and you're all good to go. Just want to make a nice antenna here for our Panzer III. This little piece here, we need to glue on a nice big nice thin antenna just on there. Now to do that, the instructions want us to do that nice little trick where we melt pieces of plastic. Now just cut off, just drop that 1 second, cut off just like a load of straight bits off our sprues that we've got lying around spare. You want a lot, because you know what, it never comes out perfect the first time. You know, it's best to make about 3, 4, 5 of them and then sort of like pick the best one. So I've got a tape measure because we want it to be 5.5 centimeters long, right? And then we're just going to get a lighter, and instead of going off with a lighter, holding the lighter, having one hand on the lighter, one hand on our plastic bit here, easier if we just light a candle and use the flame from a candle rather than the lighter. This way we've got two hands free. So what we want to do, put the piece of plastic just above the flame, right, and then we want to wait for that piece of plastic to literally bend. As you can see there, once it's bent, that means it's nice and sort of gone all kind of runny and melted, and then you can just pull on it nicely. Now when you pull on it, it's going to get so far, and then you're going to feel like, you know what, it's going to break if I pull any more than that. So that's where you want to stop, and we want to hold it in this position basically until it's nice and dry. Right, because we don't want it sort of drying in a bit of a bent position or something like that, because if it dries in a sort of a bent position, you know, that's the way it's going to stay. You want to keep it straight, so you want to have held it for a little bit until it cooled down and dried. So I'm just doing it again. As I say, you want to do this a few times, and that's nicely melted there. Slowly pull back on it until you feel like it's just not going to go anymore and it's going to break. And then once you've got that distance, hold, let it cool, let it kind of go nice and hard, and it should dry in that nice straight position that we've got going on here. So we can put that down and leave that like that. And as I say, do it a couple of times and just pick the best one, cut it to, and then we'll cut it to size, and you simply just glue it in like you do any other piece, and that will be your antenna there. There is another way we can do this. It is a bit more tricky. If you really want to get a very long sort of a really long, really thin piece, and that is to hold both ends. Don't wait for it to curl up, but actually rotate the piece of plastic, really get it really melted, really kind of get it sort of nicely heated up. Oh, not that much. Right, and while it's really runny and wet, we're going to pull and pull and pull and pull, and because we've really sort of let this get really hot to the point where, as you could see, that went on fire, because it's more runny and more hotter, we can see, as you can see, I'm really sort of, you know, I've literally kind of doubled the length of what I've been doing with all the other pieces. Right, but as I say, that one's a little bit more tricky because it literally can set on fire. But you know, two methods there, and it literally is just a case of no one comes out the same, and you've just got to kind of do a couple and you know, pick the best one. As you can see, this build is nicely coming along, nice and rapid style, but really all it's been, it's such a nice easy build. I mean, what I've mainly done here is just cut pieces off the sprue and glue them together. It really is just so nice, easy and simple to do. I mean, you might need to concentrate a little bit with this main gun, but apart from that, it's been really a nice, enjoyable build. Few things I've left off the sprue. We've got our track links here, you know, these are going to be sprayed a different colour, so I've left them off, but I mean, really they just fall nicely into there. You probably wouldn't need to actually glue these on, which is rather nice. And then there's just a few other little bits and bobs which are going to be sprayed, natural metal finishes, that kind of stuff. I did finally kind of pick one of our antenna wire pieces here, and as you can see, that is so nice, straight and fine. Really gonna look nice. We can have that in the up position, or it can kind of go in a down sort of position as well, so you know, that is gonna look rather nice as well. So now we've got a few little areas where, you know, we've done a bit of gap filling with the Vallejo putty technique. It's looking good, it's looking nice, but I mean, you know, the only way you're going to see, as I always say, the only way you're going to see how something's going to look, whatever filling you've done, the only way you're going to know how it's going to look in the end is plain and simply, you've got to get some paint on to actually see. So I'm just going to quickly whack in some 057 black by Vallejo, nice and quick. Right, and then what I'm going to do is, you know, where we've been doing a bit of our Vallejo putty just here, we're just going to spray on our black just here, and what this does, it shows us what this is going to look like for when it's got paint. So we now know, do we need to give that a little bit more, and looking at it excuse me, I think we are going to have to kind of fill that in a little bit more just on this one here. You can just see the gap maybe is still there, and then there's all these other places around the hatches, they need a little bit of a tidying up, you know, so give these a spray of black as well. You know, don't worry about spraying the black down, because I mean, we're going to prime this later, so it doesn't matter. But actually though, that hatch is looking not too bad actually, just kind of like the way I wanted it, nice and even. That's looking nice, so I'm going to go around and just make a few little checks here and there. So as you can see, nicely gone around in all the kind of gap areas, so that now I can see what it's going to be like. So apply whatever Vallejo plastic putty I need just to kind of fill them in, tighten them up, get them all nice, and that should be all good. But what I want to look at now is some internal detail, because you know, I am closing these side hatches on the turrets, but the top hatch I'm keeping. And what I've basically done, I mean, you want to go off and sort of, you know, do a bit of test fitting. So I've got my main gun here, and as you can see, I have primed the inside just to save a bit of time. And basically, this is how it's gonna go. Right, so hopefully what you're seeing is we can see, if we have this hatch open, we can see inside there. Right, so we do want to take care of it, but to be honest with you, what's going to happen is we're going to come along and we're going to put this hatch on top. So then hopefully you can agree I'm starting to see a bit less in there, but then I'm also going to have a commander in here as well, so hopefully you can also agree again, you know, being able to see in here isn't going to be very easy at all. So I don't really want to go off and spend a load of time doing loads of detail inside. I mean, you can if you want, and you can open up these side hatches, but I want to just keep it nice and quick, easy, a nice quick simple effect. And what I'm going to do for this nice quick easy effect is going to start off, okay, I've primed all the inside, getting some black, right, and I'm just going to spray the inside of this turret area, just plain simple black, nice and quick. Just get some good coverage so it's just black as you can get it.